See Telch, what's up, man? How are you doing, man?
What's up, Troners? Good.
Goody good. I'm glad that you could come as a guest. We've been trying to do this for quite a while.
Yes, it finally happened, man. I'm happy to be here, a guest of your podcast.
Guest of this weird podcast that we're doing. And yeah, man. So what's up? How have you been in this weird life? That's it's crazy pandemic, yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been crazy, ups and downs, and I've been here in the studio for some months, and then out of the studio for some other months, and now I'm back. And yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster. Super exciting times, life changing for sure.
Yeah, man, life changing for sure. It was yeah, it's been pretty weird for all of us, no? No gigs, no, no real interaction, especially.
Exactly, it's all through screens nowadays, man. Just like now.
Just like now. That's where this idea came from. Just
Yeah, man.
But yeah, man,
Seems like
we're
you.
here now, and yeah, you've been making a lot of music. Um, now
Yeah,
that
I
you're
mean,
back in the studio, I guess.
yes. Well, the first pandemic round was a whole bunch of music. I released 16 tracks between March and October last year,
Shit.
and then I left. And now that I'm back, I don't know, like I'm into the fifth track, and three have been released already. And yeah, some awesome stuff is on the way. I'm very happy to be back in the studio, and yeah, cool releases coming up for sure.
Cool releases, man. I'm just checking if we are on live, on Twitch, because it's a bit strange now. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, I'm doing the same. It's on Twitch and not on YouTube, huh?
Yeah, it's not on YouTube, it's on Twitch. The channel's Ronald McDonald.
Cool.
Ronald
Twitch.
McDonald. Okay, yeah. Well, live. Yeah, it's happening. Chat. What's up?
Oh,
Yeah,
there we
it's
go.
happening. Okay, cool. So yeah, it's just
Well,
sometimes I'm a little bit worried that like OBS is not gonna connect the live. So yeah, man. Well, pandemic has been pretty crazy, but we're pulling through, no? Like we're just trying to do different stuff, I guess. Like me doing this stuff is something weird.
yeah, trying to keep the boat from sinking a little bit, but no, it's good. I mean, uh, there's been super positive things about the pandemic, like extra studio time without jet lagging, and stuff like this is super. I don't know, healthy. It's been nice in certain aspects,
Yeah,
but
man, it's
also enough is enough. We're ready to go.
ready to blast again. Yeah, well, I don't see that happening very soon. Like at least a few months, at least.
Yeah, especially with the new variant and all of these things.
Yeah.
I'm I'm guessing that it'll be another little while. Sorry, man. I'm looking for you on the Twitch. How do you spell McDonald?
Ronald McDon with double N.
Oh, it's
McDonald.
gotcha. Okay, so it's Tronald, not Ronald.
Ronald
Tronald.
McDonald. Ese mi Angami. ¿Cómo andamos? Ese mi Nico.
Ronald McDonald. ¿Con doble qué?
Con doble N
What?
en el Donald.
McDonald. Okay.
Huevo. Igual ahí está el Nicolás. ¿Cómo andamos, carnal? ¿Qué tal? ¿Ya te fuiste de luna de miel con tu esposa, mi Nico, o qué pedo? ¿Ya volviste del honeymoon? Se acaba de casar. ¿Por qué no salen los users que están conectados? Saludos, Sugar Glider Music. A huevo. Ah, Welits. Pues sí, mira, sí hay bandita, pero no sale. Ah, mira, ahí está. Nerilik. Ah, mira. Last Year Asia. Chido. Que transitan. ¿Eh?
ya nos vi.
A huevo. Igual, pues, ¿qué onda? ¿Tienen alguna pregunta para el Jossie? ¿Tienen alguna rola que le quieran enseñar a ese güey? Acá está en su estudio, listo para escuchar. Te dicen, ¿ya viste el chat ahí en el Twitch?
Sí, ya está. Aquí estoy viendo el chat. Nice.
Luego, hace
Gracias.
3 años. No, pues ya es un rato de casado, güey. Entonces, por eso te digo, cuando a veces es como medio español, inglés, estos programas latinos. Cámara, hijo, ¿qué onda?
Me volteé, perdón.
Oh, pues. Oh, pues. Y que
Uh,
transita, güey. Igual, igual yo no tengo nada que mostrarles esta semana de música nueva. No, pues a mí, cualquiera de las dos está bien. Creo que esta está un poco más centrada, ese view.
sí, así ahí va, mejor.
Más mejores.
Buenísimo. Pues sí. What should we talk about?
Yeah, man. Well, I don't know. Like, well, the pandemic has consumed our stuff to talk about. Like, we don't have like stuff to say. Like, oh yeah, how was this festival? It's like, it's more like, yeah, how did you see this live stream? Or like, all right, have you been like, what have you been watching on YouTube? This is more like, what have you been doing?
Well, yeah, it's you can tell that we were very monothematic people, and that was it for us. And now there's nothing. No, but it's it's still good, you know. I've been able to sort of disconnect, and I've been to the beach, and I visited my family in the States, and
That's good.
I don't know, stuff that wouldn't regularly happen um, if I was on tour or something like this. So let's hope the next year 2020 gigs will will manifest themselves in a 2022 format, you know.
Man, I hope so. Like, I had a full calendar in 2020, really. Like, but yeah, I
What is
guess it's just nostalgia to even to like there are some gigs that have like some promoters that have come around and talked about rescheduling them. For 2021 was a big load of them for me. But 20 there is still to be seen, for next year what's gonna happen. I feel it's like, let's see.
I lost you there for the last couple sentences. I'm sorry.
Okay, I know. Like it's still to be seen what's gonna happen for next year. No, like let's see what more variants happen. All these regulations, like all these people not wanting to get vaxxed, or like at least yeah, maybe the shots not being as efficient as we would like because people are still getting infected and going to the hospital even after taking the jabs. So, I mean, like, let's see what happens for next year. No, I'm still optimistic. I was a bit more optimistic about I'm still more optimistic about next year than I was about this year.
Than you were about this year, last year, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I was, but I'm sure we're still, if not before, but at least in the middle of this, like we'll still at least one more year to go until this gets a little bit more normalized.
Yeah, me too. I mean, and every day there's also new information, you know, like some vaccines are having side effects on people and this and this. So
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine a lot of people being afraid of it, so then not doing it, so then having more waves. So hopefully it doesn't happen, even though it kind of is, even now. I know a bunch of people that are not willing to get the vaccine, and I don't want to get into the subject of vaxxers or anti-vaxxers, whatever, but
Yeah.
for sure, me, I had to get it because I'm intending on traveling, eventually, and I know that it's kind of a half of the passport nowadays.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's an iffy subject to talk about, but let's just hope that 2022 will be like a viable year to be a musician still.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it's less and less viable to be a musician lately because of like all this streaming. I think when the streaming started, like, uh, we got paid even less, like even though like they're not pirating our stuff. But anyways, that's another subject. No, but I mean, let's see if it is viable to still be doing this. Like, as you say, the vaccine is kind of half of the passport, right? Like, but anyways, even if you're vaxxed, you still need to, like, in some places, like for example, right now, if you're coming from Europe to USA or like through Mexico, for example, like you need to stay in Mexico for 14 days. And Sulikos is just saying darknet fake vaccine passport check. Yeah, man, you need a checklist for these things. But anyways, like even if you are vaxxed, you still need your PCR to get on the plane to go to Mexico and then stay 14 days in Mexico and get your PCR test to go to USA. Like unless there's like a major cause or something. So it's it's pretty rough, man.
It is, man. It's kind of a bullshit situation, and I'm quite fed up with it to be honest.
That we all
And
are.
it's even hard to take a stance. I'm agreeing on both sides on so much shit. So I'm just kind of choosing to be part of the system, vaccine wise, to get out of the system traveling wise, and not be confined by the government, and to have full open borders at my disposal.
Yeah, man. Well, let's hope there is open borders at our disposal at any point in the near future. Uh, I doubt it, to be honest, because I'm seeing already like how places are, like Canada, making it very very difficult to travel, even for Canadian citizens. It's like, okay, you want to go, but you're gonna have to pay a lot, and it's like France making it obligatory to like go to a mall to get vaxxed, so that is like it's quite extreme, so like we're seeing a lot of reactions of different places, well, like actions being taken by the government, and like in the case of like France, for example, there's reactions like really big social big social reaction there for that, no? So let's see what happens, man. Like this thing is like far from being regulated.
Yes, it seems like a very improvised actions on everyone's part.
Yeah.
No, nobody's really taking a completely educated decision on anything. Everyone's kind of going on instinct. The people that get vaccinated, the people that don't, and the government. You can also tell how they'll come up with a measure from one day to another, just kind of in a very reactive fashion to whatever's going on that particular point in time. But
Yeah.
it's never been done before. You can tell that it's kind of like we say in Spanish, patadas de ahogado, no? Like a kind of a last attempt at controlling something, and then it backfires, so then they have to take a new measure, and we're just kind of witnessing everything real time and suffering the consequences. We shouldn't be talking right now. We should be playing for somebody.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, it's Saturday in some places in the world, right?
Yeah, I mean it's summer in half of the world, man. In the northern hemisphere, we should be, it's like it's mid-July, the end of July. We should be touring.
Yeah,
This is the
exactly.
first time
We should
5 years that I'm home
we should be
during this
somewhere
moment.
super hangover, like being, eating some pizza with friends in Europe or somewhere. Um, well, look, like Haha Jones just got his shot this week. Which shot did you get, man? I hear in Germany, yes, this is another thing about vax and all this stuff is like, and then we'll go to the first track because we've been on this for quite a while. But um, and I hear, some countries they you need both shots from one maker, right? Like, so to get like maybe both shots from AstraZeneca or both shots from Pfizer, for them to how do you say, like, to write you off like as you are like fully vaxxed. And some other countries, they're actually promoting the one vax from one and then the other from the other, no? Like Germany is doing like the first shot from, like, say AstraZeneca and then the second one from Pfizer or something like that, just to get like both of the, you know. And some countries are
The,
not accepting this as fully vaxxed people, which is weird.
oh, gotcha. So even if you got your two shots from the two different
Yeah,
companies, then that it's like you didn't get vax for like to get into this other country or something.
exactly. You would need 4 shots to be fully vaxxed there, or at least 3 to get like 2 of one and then 1 of the other or something. Like, that's a bit weird. Like, they're still not in cahoot, like they're not like they don't say the same things in one place or the other. I don't know if they understand like fully how this thing works yet. It's like Pokemon.
Yeah,
You have to catch all the vaccines. Yeah, that's true.
I know. That's what I'm saying about the improvisation, and I mean they're gonna have to organize and amongst themselves, meaning the different governments, in order for the people to be fully free again. But
Yep.
anyways, enough of the COVID, man.
Yeah, man. Enough of that COVID talk. Like, let's just go to some music, yeah. Hey, Macaulay, carnalito. So yeah, this is good. Well, this is a track from Sugar Glider, and yeah, let's see how it goes. Blast. Okay.
But you were right. You can't destroy a part of yourself. destroy a part of yourself.
Okay, we were experiencing some technical difficulties, but we are back now. Oh, what is happening?
We were experiencing some
Oh, okay,
technical
ya.
difficulties. We're back now.
That's your, tienes tu Twitch ahí con volumen, ¿no?
Oh, sí.
That's your.
A ver, entonces, so cool. Yeah, that was good. Good track. I like the sound of it. Like, let's let Jossie start with the roasting. What do you think, man?
Nah, no roasting, man. It's a very cool track. Goes through a lot of nice moments and different parts, and it's like definitely telling a story. So, no roasting, just compliments for sure.
Ah, yeah, nice. What do you think of the mix, man? What do you think of the story is killer? Yeah, I think so.
The mix is nice. I mean, it has a very tight low end, and the mid part of the frequency range is cool as well. You can understand all of the parts, leads, pads, etc. And just maybe a little bit dull on the top end. Hi-hat, all of the high frequency content could be a bit shinier or brighter. Now, I don't know. I was listening to it through Twitch. I don't know if there's any quality loss, and maybe that's where it's reflecting the most. So I couldn't make a 100% educated opinion on the mix, because I know that there's some loss there in the streaming.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that's how I.
Yeah, no, but roughly, I felt the same thing. Like just maybe the offbeat hi-hat needed a little bit of like some sort of tucking, like just because it's quite like all over everything else, So maybe a little bit of transient designer or something, just because like it's kind of like on the level that it should be, but a little bit all over the place, if you know what I mean. But yeah, no, the rest I think is very, very solid. Like what it's a good review. I wouldn't really add too much. Thank you, Jossie. They say thank you. Slow. The first part of the break was a bit slow. Good changes of style in the middle. Thanks heaps. Banging track. Definitely a banging track. Could be releasing a VA compilation as it is. Well, yeah, definitely could be released. It's nice. Okay, we have new workflow. This is from, I'm just downloading some tracks. So, actually, I wanted to talk, you have some stuff that is like soon to be released, right? Like that you can talk about, because there is some stuff that is super secret. So, just tell us what you have in mind for the near future. in terms of releases and music making that you can talk about? What do you think? What's happening?
Well, my I have an EP that's gonna get released in Digital Structures, which I'm very happy about because, like for the people that know me, I'm like fully in Iboga Tech. That's my main label, but Digital Structures has been also a big part um, of my releasing sort of curriculum, and I'm back. I'm gonna be releasing with them as well as with Iboga. So I have an EP coming out with them, and so that can for sure be talked about. And I'm gonna have two very important or like very special remixers for me that I can't reveal because I'm gonna get bitched at for sure. But yeah, we have I have two very cool remixers for my EP, and then I have two very special remixes that I'm gonna be releasing as well in Digital Structures, and then Iboga Tech, which I mean the kind of long-term project is to release my album there, but it's just been too hectic of times regarding me not being constant in the studio. So it's I'm anticipating a couple of more EPs with Iboga Tech, and then fully get into my album. And yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff too as well with Alpaca Records and with Technosis, and eventually as well with Dragonfly.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the vision or the itinerary
That's
of
good.
releasing and producing. You know, some of it hasn't even been started, and some of it is already ready and just in the queue of the label to get released, and some is in the works right now here in the studio making it. No, so
That's,
all in the different stages.
oh, that's very cool, man. It's a lot of good names for labels and definitely great badges for you. You know, like great. It's good. No, like Digital Structures. I haven't really heard much about what they've been doing lately. But I mean, I'm very disconnected from that side of the scene anyway. So like, it's not. But it's great names. You know, like great. What you have like more or less an ETA for your album, like you know, ideal time that you would say like, okay, maybe like in 1 year, maybe in 2 years, to have the whole album ready.
No, the ETA already passed. My estimated time for the album. It should have been done already. So at this point, I'm just kind of trying to be proactive, not trying to be being proactive towards it, but not stressing over time because there's too many variables at this point in time regarding house moves and like studio availability and stuff like this.
Hmm.
So more than other releases, I would of course prioritize my album production over anything else, but it's an album, and it takes time. And at this point, with kind of gaps I have in between like studio chapters, it's a bit more honest to just do one or two tracks and release those, and soon enough I'll be able to fully immerse myself in an album process.
Yeah, man, definitely. I'm not sure how you do it. Like when I make when I made my albums, I used to make like loads of tracks. I don't know, like 20 or something. And then from those 20 or 25 or something, you like I just picked like 10 best. But like it takes some time. So some of those tracks are quite old for in my case. Like when I released them, they're already a couple of years old. So is that the case when you're making an album, or you're just like, okay, like let's just do this for like a few, like how do you tackle this, like for anyone that is like maybe thinking about doing it?
Well, it's gonna be my debut album, even though I have, I think, I don't know, maybe I think I have now 97 tracks or something like this in Beatport.
Oh wow,
uh,
97. That's good.
yeah, I mean, including remixes and stuff like this, right? But I've never been able to to do the album. There's always requests from other people and this remix and this CP and
Yeah.
so I mean it's not an excuse, I'm aware that there's people that have 2, even 3 projects and they're releasing albums for all 3, and it's just how it's flowed for me. And I know that there's like capacity, if you want to call it that, because last year, from March to October, I did and released 16 tracks, which is the equivalent of 2 albums. I did that in
Wow.
less
Okay. Yeah, that's a
than
lot.
a year. But all of these tracks were, like some for my EP for Ibogatech, another one for Digital Structures, another one for the VA of I don't know who, another one for so it's they're always getting scattered into a bunch of labels and
Yeah.
into a bunch of different little things. So I don't know that answer of how do I tackle it. I'm gonna have to answer it once I do tackle it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I hope that I have the time to not have to say no to either a remix or some collaboration for some other. I don't want to just say no, guys. Right now, not, because I'm doing my album, which I know it's the case with some artists, and I mean I'm not close to any possibility, but hopefully I can tackle the album and still do the normal stuff at the same time.
Yeah, man. Well, hopefully. Yeah, it's with me. It was like that. No, like it's hard to it's hard to say no to those kind of things, especially because sometimes it's very there are good opportunities, no, to make a remix for this guy, or to like do some stuff here or there, like release a track here or there. But like I had something like an album ready last year, last year, and now all the tracks have gone for compilations and EPs and remixes and stuff like that, and it's like maybe not the ideal thing, but like I guess before an album you have to speed up and like gain some momentum or some hype, in order to get the album really pumping, no? So in a measure, I think it's a good thing, no, to like divide your time a little bit before the album. Maybe pick one track for like one really really good thing, like to just like put it there, and like maybe spend a little bit of time like doing something different, and then coming back into the album and seeing it with a different perspective. Sometimes it makes some sense, no? So let's see.
Yeah, it does. I think also it has to do a lot with the genre of music, meaning that Sci-Tech, I mean, even though it's been around for a while, even though they didn't call it that, right now it's kind of starting to pump more, and there's a lot of new artists coming out, and these compilations that are like from new labels that are super hype, and particularly now with no gigs, you have to stay in people's minds, and sometimes when you're producing an album and you choose not to release anything to fully concentrate on the album, I mean, if you're gigging a lot and if you're doing that, then it's fine, you there's like some content of yours constantly there. But right now there isn't, so you have to keep up with releases, and otherwise, I don't know. I mean, it's not that I view it like that, but it is kind of a competitive world, just like every other job and stuff. Not competitive in the sense that you would have any bad blood towards a colleague or nothing like that. But if we're setting ourselves up to be touring in 2022, you have to give the people that book you an excuse to book you, you know, and the one best excuse for people to book you is the fact that you have new, fresh music out, and that you know, like you make people understand that you're on it, you know, and not
Yeah.
just scratching your belly waiting for the next gig to appear. And yeah, when you're working on an album, even though you're working super hard, people don't know.
Yeah.
So they probably think that you're being lazy and not releasing anything, hence you're not getting booked. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a double-edged sword, like that.
Yeah, that's why you have to hype it up, you know, up to a point before you start like really like putting the time, you know, or like at least have a couple of things that are already programmed for the next couple of months while you are working on it. Because if not, it's going to be like, you know, it takes yeah, no, for sure you need like some to I think consistency is the key, no, like in posting in social media, in releasing in Beatport, like for charting and etc. No, so it's all about consistency, man. But yeah, man, like
Oh,
having no content to like just like not playing anywhere and not like going anywhere because you're like locked up and like, you know, you can't travel, you can't do shit, so it's hard.
yeah, and no, it's a thing. The 16 tracks I released last year, you know, I think I've played them once,
Yeah.
but they still seem so super old just because they're on the live streams and on the this and that, and people have, you know, like listened to it so much, but never on a festival, you know. It's kind of, I mean, not throwing music away, or not at all, but it is, you know, like music has a purpose and it should be listened to on a dance floor. And
It
here
doesn't.
we are releasing tracks and tracks, and they're just getting listened to on laptops and stuff.
I think it's not thrown away, but it doesn't get the impact that it should have. Yeah, like Suliko said, because you want to surprise people, and now like they've heard it in like really small speakers. But anyways, like also the tracks that you already know and that you've heard in small speakers, when you hear them in a big rig, like it's like, oh my god, I've never noticed that depth, you know, like I've never noticed this. And like this is also another experience, you know, like from already released music. It's obviously not the thing that you want to feel while you're playing. You want to surprise people, like Sulek says. You want to like get them involved in something that they never really like felt. But for the, sorry, just need to close the door. For the normal party goer, I think also, you know, the released music that they've already like established some like connection with, like it's also a good feeling, you know. Like I remember like listening to old tracks from when like I don't know GMS was playing, and I was like, wow, this track, wow, maybe a little bit of a remix on them though. So
No, I mean, for sure, it's a thing, you know. That's why people play retro sets and stuff like that. I mean, the nostalgic factor is a real one for sure.
yeah,
Uh, but yeah, it's just kind of getting used to the new normal. Sorry for the COVID-y expression, but it is, you know. I mean, I remember back in the day, the thing in the late 90s, early 2000s, when I was a teenager and starting to go to parties, the one thing was like you didn't want to miss a party, you know, because the DJ was probably going to bring the newest music that you
Yeah.
would only hear in that one particular event. And if you weren't there, then you missed it, and you missed it forever, you know. And now it's kind of like people are very used to recording their sets. So even though you didn't go to the party, you go to SoundCloud and you listen to, I don't know who playing the Osora or the Boom, and so that magic of having been there is kind of lost in a way. For sure, if you listen to it in the SoundCloud, you're still missing out on the experience of being there. But
yeah,
the auditive sort of a very people would take pride in that, you know. Oh, I was there for that, and then he played this track mixed with that one, and it was the best. And you're never gonna listen to it ever because you weren't there in that party, you know. And now the new normal is kind of like, oh, I've listened to it all, but in small speakers. Let's go listen to it on the big rig now, you know.
yeah.
It's yeah, for sure the element of surprise, of noticing a detail can be there, but the rawness of listening to something for the first time is for sure gone, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand what you say. Also, like the releases are like, not wasted, but they're not getting the impact that they should, like no one is playing them out. Half of the DJs are like, well, obviously not investing in music, so like, half of your sales are gone. And like it's releasing right now, it's just like, throwing a coin in a well, and like just expecting something to happen. Like it's not going to do much, but at least it keeps your name, like you say, just keeps your name out there. But yeah, I think it's man, it's testing times for art. There is some music being reviewed, Natalia. Yes, I was getting into that. So let's just do this. This is Mr. Babadook. Mr. Babadook, he did the listen to my track next, and every one of you can do that if you have the bits and the bits and pieces. No, but if you want to do that, we can do that. We have a few tracks ready for review. Let's listen to this one first. Mr. Babadook. Oh, what's the name of the track? Cupurian. Cupurian. Es el iPod. Ahí les va. estamos. And we're back. So, well, yeah. Yeah, cool stuff. Really nice squelches.
And we're
Well, you want to elaborate on what you just wrote down there, Jossie, or what do you think?
Sure. I'm sure Patricia will back me up because there's an image of the frequency analyzer. But yeah, it seems like the bass drum, the bass drum, the bass line. The fundamental is at 80 hertz, which is not the fundamental. That would be the first, like the octave above it, you know, and it's not showing up on the analyzer, the actual fundamental, which would be 40 hertz. So if you had that, then you would get the sub you're looking for, and it would balance out as well with a kick drum a little bit more. And then about the enveloping, yes, I mean, it's a 16th note sort of rolling bass line, and it has very little snap, very little attack. I mean, without to mention like the EQing and stuff, but yeah, stylistically, a little bit more snap on the attack of the bass would be more congruent to the style. And yeah, just kind of the low end was what caught my attention the most regarding like errors in the mixdown. The rest is very cool and you know, like very sort of creative. Again, lots of storytelling, and I like that guitar mini solo at the end. It's super cool. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna back you up there with the low end. Like, I think the low end is quite lumpy, and you can see it here, of course. Like, you're totally right. Like, the 40 hertz is kind of missing. It's like minus 10 dBs, minus almost 15 dBs, or even less. You know, this might be some residue from the kick, actually. So yeah, 80 hertz is E2. But also it is 40 hertz, you know, and like the fact that we're talking about this, Natalia, is because 80 hertz, you have 80 hertz, and then you have your next harmonic on 120. So this makes this E1, yeah, which should be 40 hertz, and it's dipped out, and also it's like you have this first harmonic really, really strong here, and then the next harmonics are going down. This is your bass, this like solid line here, and this is the kick, this like floating line right here. And you can see how after this point that is very, very close, like dangerously close to the dynamic of the low end on the kick, then you have like a very, very big dip on the bass, and it's not on the kick. So that is where you could feel like it's very, very lumpy. And you could potentially just turn down this a little bit, you know, turn this range, this band, this harmonic, and maybe not cut so much of the bass, just not so much. Like you're okay to cutting a little bit of 40 hertz, but just not quite that much. And then in this way, you'll be able to push the bass louder because you're not going to be peaking way so much with this first harmonic. And then like the bass is going to be filling up more of the space of the spectrum, you know? Like an arm with a lump on it. Yeah, I don't know about that, man. But yeah, cool sounds through the track. I think it needs a bit more brightness, as some might add. But yes, man, nice. Okay, so we got another track here to review. Sunburn is from a good friend, Alexandro Cagli. He wanted Jossie to review his track because he's a fan and he's making music kind of like that. This is Sunburn. What? Okay, yeah, load it. Okay, let's do this. Cool. So we are back. That ending was a little bit monotonous. I'll let you start, man, because you are the guest. So serve yourself first out of this roast. Off this roast, sorry. Yeah. What do you think, man?
Well, I like the style for sure. It's kind of approximate to the kind of style that I make, so I appreciate it. You know, the genre kind of thing. And yeah, it's got a good intention to it. Let's put it that way, and it's got a nice vibe to it and everything. But for sure, I feel that it's out of all the tracks that we've listened to today, it's the one that's like lacking the most sound design wise and mix wise, and again, you know, it's got a cool intention to it, but not the best result in the sense that, you know, it falls into like boring a little bit sections, or sections that are maybe a little bit too elongated for the amount of stuff or content that they have. You know, it's like seems like we're waiting for something to happen and it doesn't, and then something kind of happens, and then we're like in this new phase of the song again for a long time without much stuff going on, you know. So there could be a better kind of timing within the storytelling, like maybe make the sections a little bit shorter.
Yeah.
And yeah, the sounds could also be a bit more interesting. The kick, I felt that it had like kind of a bit of an uncomfortable click and an overall kind of a weird feel to it. So yeah, I mean, it's a cool track, but some work has to be done on the skills part of the production. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think yeah, totally right. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I can add too much. Like, I mean, in terms of production, it needs a lot of work. You know, I think it needs some division between low end and mid range, and this is something big on this kind of style. I think you don't want that like really really loaded low mid range, but you want something like that. It's like that it's present because it's the punch and it's, you know, like all the niceness of that, like, you know, of your track. But it's also like you don't want too much of that because it's just like too honky kind of kick and bass, you know, and it's like you don't want honky kick and bass. Um, Definitely that little click on the top is a bit weird. Yeah, the sections could, you know, I think it's quite basic in production and should have a bit more details happening, like you say, like it needs more content for the elongation of the sections. um
Yes, surely. And just so that there's not a misinterpretation, we totally understand how low end can change from genre to genre, and for sure, I wouldn't expect kind of a psytrance cleanliness and over that sort of style, you know. It can be kind of a dirty techno thing going on, but even like that, it's not well achieved, you know. Just wanted to throw that in there.
yeah, it needs some tucking down some frequencies there to get more clear. Like, I mean, for division is like, it's not like you want like you going like in psytrance that you have a really prominent mid range and then like not really much low mids on the kick and then like it comes back, no, like those classic psytrance kicks. No, I mean, like you need a little bit of control on that range, you know, whichever style you're working on, no, like you don't want that low crossover of the speakers to be like too crowded.
Exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, let's
So yeah,
sorry.
no, that's the feedback on that one. But anyways, I hate giving feedback because I think it can be discouraging, but I hope it comes off as more like motivation to work more, you know.
Yeah, no, I think it should be that. That's what it's intended, you know. That's the like the intention here. Like, it's not like to make anyone feel bad, but it's to get you to listen to what we are listening to, and trying to like that. Maybe that helps, no? But anyways, well, we're in the middle of the show, and I don't know if you have a tip for our viewers today, you know, some tip, maybe a plugin that you've been using, maybe some new sequencer, maybe just a way to wash your dreads that you found, like it's a great life hack. I don't know, man, like a way to trim your beard. What is your secret, man?
Well, I
Just a
actually
tip.
need a tip from anybody who's watching on how to wash my dreads and trim my beard, but I'll give you a tip on production for sure.
Okay, that's a fair exchange.
Yes, right. Plugin that I've been using a lot. That's kind of a new, at least in my arsenal. That seems to be working fantastic for me. Is the Black Box plugin.
Oh yeah, the distortion.
Yeah, it's a distortion unit emulating, you know, like the analog black box, and it's got an amazing sound. I'm using it particularly on my bus mix.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm putting a black box, you know, on all of my. I usually, I'm sorry to get extra geeky, but yeah, let's say if I'm doing layering, you know, of snares to get a big, nice snare sound, I will bus those three sounds right into like one group,
Of course.
and then I do the same thing with my hi-hats, which I like layer as well, and then I have I don't know, let's say percussions, all my channels from percussion. Anyways, I group all of that, and then all of those groups I group into one overall kind of like rhythm section or percussion
Yeah.
group, and on that final group, I'm using the black box, as well as in my all of my synth group
Cool.
and all of my FX group, and like just like the final group for each section of my track gets a black box treatment, and it's so good, like of course used super mildly, and in combination with other old plugins that I was working with, like I don't know, like tape emulators or whatever, it just gives the right warmth and pop to all of my parts with so much control. And
Cool.
like I wouldn't use it if I want to target a particular like frequency area on a sound or something. If I want to kind of enhance that with distortion, I would use Decapitator or something like this, even
More
though you
aggressive.
can with black box, but black box only has like lows, mids, and highs, or overall, while Decapitator actually has like
Low cut and everything.
well, yeah, and the knob that goes from like the tone knob, you can go from not just lows, mids, or highs. You can go from like low to mid low to
Yeah.
low mid, etc. Right?
Yeah.
So this is just more like that's why I'm saying in the final group, when I want to enhance everything, and everything that's in that group has been properly processed and DQ'd, and it's the signal from each channel is going through exactly as I want it, and then I can just enhance everything, and I know that I won't get like extra resonance or anything like that. Yeah, the black box is my way to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a great tip, and also it's a good insight on how you are routing all your stuff. I'm doing something very similar as well. Just doing like some single groups of like elements, and then going into like band groups, basically like high band, mid band, and low band groups. And then those groups, like sometimes like going into a sub mix, at least like the higher bands, and then the low band, which would be kick and bass, like just going direct. Or sometimes I just leave them as 3 bands. But yeah, it's a good way of summing stuff. And yeah, like I'm definitely gonna try that. It's it has this triode and pentode, that black box, right? Like it's like one of those that you can like really push a little bit some bits, like just mildly, but in a nice way. Oh, I think we lost Discord for a minute. Wait, we are coming back. We are having some technical difficulties. There you go.
There?
Sorry. We had some technical difficulties, but you're back with us. So what were you saying? Sorry.
Cool. No, I was saying that yes, it does have those two distortion modes, the pentode and the triode, and it also has a saturation unit, and it has like an alternate sort of a harsher tube mode, and it has an air knob to kind of massage the higher frequency
massage.
And yeah, man, it's amazing. It's amazing, and I don't know. I reviewed it, and I particularly haven't fiddled around much with the hardware version of this. But I did do my kind of research, because it's a kind of an expensive machine that I got in partnership with a colleague during Black Friday or something like that. It was still a bit of money.
Yeah.
So I did my research, and apparently the emulation is beautiful, compared to the actual unit. So yeah, it has a plus, of course, the plug-in kind of flexibility that they always do, like this some sort of cool setting that you couldn't do with the analog piece of gear, right? But yes, it has a alternate tube. It has an air mount. It has a triode, pentode, and saturation, and like you can trigger the the lower the highs, or you can just go flat with it, and it's just very, very cool.
Nice, man. Yeah, no, really looking forward to using it. Like, I think I have it there somewhere. I think I'm not sure if I own it or someone just like say like, hey, here you go, you have like a license here, but I think I have it there somewhere. Okay, so let's go to the next track. It's Macaulay. This is gonna be a bit of a jump. It's 150 BPM. So here we go.
Oh, I don't review BPMs that fast. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it says it's too close to high tech, isn't it?
No, I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah,
eager to listen.
I don't dance to this music. I just vibrate it. Okay, so let's listen to Bam. Okay, so we're back, and after a really sudden fade out, sorry guys, but yeah, I think cool. Yeah, the kick and bass need a bit of tweaking. I think the face is a little bit weird. Cool sounds, cool build. I feel in the beginning like the first section is a little bit too stretched. Like it could be a little bit shorter. It just feels like it's stretching out too much. But nice. Yeah, overall, cool idea. Nice break in the end. What do you think, Jossie? I know it's not your cup of tea, of what you would play. What do you think?
No, no, but it's totally my cup of tea in the regard that I like good music, you know, regardless of the genre, and that's like a very it's a nice track, especially considering that it's not finished and that it's a rough mix. It's kind of the mix that sounds the best, except for that first kind of a little drum solo-y section at the very beginning. That's not very doesn't translate that well, but then the rest is really nice. I mean, yes, it's not my forte stylistically, but yeah, I can groove to it, and yeah, I mean, I don't know if I should say that the parts are too long. Maybe that's just to my ear, you know. That's kind of a artist's decision, but yeah, I like it. Nothing else to say. It's good.
Nice. Yeah, definitely. Good stuff. And for the work more the start and make it more evolving, like yeah, or like faster, like some changes in the middle of your sections. You know, like maybe you can do like a little change that like. You know, like at some point add some like filling, like some of a topping synth, or like a little pad that is like kind of like opening into the break or into the fill or something like that. You know, like little things like that will make the track feel like it's walking more. You know, like rather than just like static, like just like doing like this. You know. But yeah, no, really good work, man. Good work. Always cool to hear your tracks, dude. And yeah, man, what do you think? Like, I want to ask you, man. Like, have you gotten any idea of what's happening on next year? Because this year, the gigs are like not really falling into place, are they? So, have you got like plans for 2022, man? Gigs wise, like, have you had like things like we said, you know, going from 2020 to 2022 eventually, or what's going on?
Well, hopefully, you know,
Hopefully.
the at least for 2021,
Yeah.
I did a lot of re-signing contracts.
Okay.
You know, for for the European tour and stuff like that. The gigs that had signed contracts, they just passed it to 2021, and then they really haven't done it for 2022. I don't know. I'm wanting to assume that it's just because they're being smart about it this time, and
Yeah.
they don't want to jump to conclusions too early in the year. But if everything goes well, then I will have myself a European tour, an Australian tour, and that's my plan, you know, to kind of jump in this endless summer kind of lifestyle that I was into before the pandemic, in which it was either the northern hemisphere or the southern during the northern's winter.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's hope that it reactivates. I mean, I know that Australia is, even though they go through their temporary lockdowns in different provinces or areas of the country, they're fully thriving. You know, their festivals are going on at a very low level, which is amazing because their local artists are ridiculously good. But I mean, they're happening. So Australia, at least for me, was one of my main. I would go there every year, you know, and I would have. Last time I was there, I had a 7 gig tour in like 48 hours. I did from
Shit.
Tasmania to Cairns. So yeah, it was getting very good, and I was getting some exposure there. So
Uh,
I mean, it makes me happy to see that they're having parties, because when shit unhits the fan, then most probably I'll be going back. And so yeah, that's it. But no names, no confirmation like of a particular one. I'm just hoping that what I had booked for 2020 will remain for when everything is open.
yeah, man, let's hope so. I also had quite a big tour like happening on 2020. It's gone. Uh, but there have been some people that just like come through and say like, "Hey man, what's happening?" Like well, actually most of everyone like just coming back and rebooking. So it's yeah, it's I'm still hopeful, but yeah, okay. So now we have another track. This is Oral Vision, Matter and Energy. This is from. Ooh, oh, I'm not sure actually because I have the Oral Vision. So let's do this. Let's see how it sounds. Okay, so we are back, and yeah, well, we're saying it sounds pretty fat. I'll let Jossie start the roast.
No, this is, I think, out of all of them, the best one now. You know, the past one was the best one before, but now this one is a good
Winning the
one.
is winning the cake.
It's winning the cake. It's the best mix for sure. The kick and bass are sounding like super tight and super fat and punchy, and like doing what they're supposed to do for sure. And the one thing I do noticed, except for that kind of a Goa lead melody thing that was pretty upfront in the mix, the rest of the effects were super back. I would pull them way more like up in the front of the mix. You want to like those effects are supposed to do something. They're kind of an element of surprise, and it's not just the sound but the volume of it, is what has a big impact when you hear those. And if they're just there in the background, kind of like doing a filling up job, they could be doing something way more exciting. Exactly the same sound at exactly the same point in time, no difference, just like volume. If they were up, they would be doing like way better. The track would feel better, I think.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. It's a very cool track.
Yeah, man, totally cool track. Yeah, kick and bass, super solid. I definitely think like it's way too much headroom between like the background and the foreground of the mid range on the sounds. Like on that mid range band. It's like, yeah, like you say, like some things need to be a little bit louder, of course, like more. Uh, I don't know, like there's like the top, like what I was thinking is like the things that are loud, like you say, like this Goa melody and like the accents of that mid range, they're okay in level, but then you have some stuff that should be on the same level that it's way lower, and then you have the real background of the mid range that is like really really low. So I think that's like some leveling and maybe a little bit of compression, but
Agree fully.
well, too much headroom with very compact music. Yeah, definitely there is too much headroom. There can be too much headroom on EDM music, electronic dance music. You want most stuff quite in the front, and you want to define what's your what's your foreground and your background in terms of mid-range, so you don't have too much separation. Like obviously there are some sounds that are going to be masked, or that are just going to be like, just a little thing in the background, but they're like but most elements, they need to be in the front, right? Because we're listening in like big speakers with like like sometimes in environments that have like reflections, etc. So you want the stuff to be clear and to be clean in the front. But yeah.
Yeah, if you don't have treated rooms, use headphones with sonar works, or there's ways to kind of get a more clear picture of what it is that you're actually doing with your mixes.
Totally. Yeah, I don't use SonarWorks with in my studio and my studio speakers. I like to hear the actual speakers, how they react with the room, etc. Like, and some things you can't really just correct on the speakers because it's more about the room that needs correction. No, but on my headphones I use SonarWorks all the times, and it really really helps just to get that little bit of like the like that harshness on the mid-range really tucked away, or like that, like those little things, like there's just like half a dB tucked down this thing, or like move, like just push 1 dB the kick or something like that. Like that really helps with SonarWorks and a calibrated set of headphones. And
Definitely.
yeah, man, totally. Also, there's like some other very good room correction algorithms and machines, like Dirac I think is very very good. There are a couple that are like, that they say it's well, haven't tried anything except Sonarworks and the KRK one that is like not so good. I wouldn't recommend it. But yeah, there is a
No, that one I don't.
yeah. It's hardware, right? Like that KRK, I don't really.
Yeah, I think it's like a sound card that has that correction software in it. But I don't know. There was a colleague here in Mexico that had it, and I mean, it wasn't working that well. It's more. I'm more up for Sonarworks. The
Yeah.
other one that you just said, I've never tried, so I can't say.
Diak.
But for sure, Sonarworks is a tool that many people that I know that make very very good music and very very good mix downs they have it. And I feel like what you're saying in your studio, but your studio is beautiful, like the way that it's acoustically treated and your speakers and everything. Mine, even though it's got a lot of paneling, it's not how my speakers react to the room. It's more how my room reacts to the speakers, and it definitely needs correction. So I do use Sonarworks both in my headphones and in my room, and now my ears sort of have finally understood how it sounds in both environments. So I'm complimenting. I'm like going back and forth. There's for sure things that I hear in the studio that I can't properly detect on headphones, and vice versa. So both, like using both, help me to come to a clear conclusion of what's going on.
Yeah, man, totally. This is like you have to like just piggyback from one to the other to see like how it sounds in both worlds.
Yep.
But yeah, man, definitely.
Exactly.
What headphones you using in the studio?
I just have one pair of headphones, and they're my iPhone earbuds. I'm just kidding. No, I have the Sennheiser's HD25, just like the
Yeah.
normal DJ headphones, which are terrible for like mixing inside the DAW and everything, because they have such a like club oriented frequency response curve. They have a huge boost at 100 hertz, and then like another huge boost, like way up in the frequency spectrum. So I mean, it's basically to hear the punch and the click of the kick to mix in the club. But Sonarworks fixes everything, man, and then they become a very good working tool for the studio as well.
Yeah, I tried Sonarworks with those HD25s. Yeah, without Sonarworks, it's like, whoa, where is my high end? And like then it's like with Sonarworks, it's like like it's just dipping down like those like really harsh high frequencies and just pushing like the real high end is like, whoa, okay, now I can hear up to like 10 or 15K. I wouldn't say 20K because I'm old already, but yeah. Well, but it's good. I'm using this Bayer Dynamics, and like they're very harsh, like a little bit like they have like 5 or 7 dBs more high end than they have like low end and mid range. So it really helps with the Sonarworks.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, those Bayer Dynamics. I mean, I would use that over my HD25s in a studio context any day, But yeah, that's you use what you got.
You use what you got. Yeah, I just got them in Spain because I was having like troubles with my non-treated room and my low grade speakers. I had some Adam T5V, which are okay, like, but not quite the PMC I have here. So I was getting
No.
a bit of.
I mean, I'm also potentially, eventually, will be moving soon.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm expecting to have to get a pair of very very decent headphones until I get the new studio setup going, because I can't stop working because of my moving.
Well, good studio headphones. Like if you can spend some dosh, like the Olo, the ones that Natalia was mentioning, OLLO. They seem to be like cutting it. Also Grado, they're really nice. but they're also pretty
Okay.
expensive.
Yeah, the Ola, uh, those I like a lot.
Yeah, no. Yeah, all are they look very comfortable as well, and they look nice. But
Yeah, they do.
yeah, man. But yeah, man. About headphones, you're thinking about like just a decent pair for making music, right? Not quite the mixing and like the mastering in them, right?
No, 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 no. For starters, I don't even master.
Yeah,
I've decided that
that's not your.
uh,
Ex-
I don't master. At least not until now. Not that I don't know the principles of it, or I could do my own version of it. But it's something that requires it's a thing, you know. Like you have to. Well, you know more better than anybody.
yeah,
That your mastering still keeps getting better, and not because you are getting more gear. It's because you're getting better at it. It takes years to become a master at mastering, and I've been working at becoming a master at making
mixing.
music, and I'm still not there at all. So I mean, I've chosen my battle.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's good. Jack of all trades, master of none. And talking about mastering, we're gonna master all what we have to. I chose mastering, and like suddenly most of my focus went for about 10 years into all the technical side of things, and I kind of lost a bit of the feeling for the music side of it, like the music side, the construction side, a little bit like that little it's some finesse that you have to have on each side, and you you got just like 100% of your attention, and you can't focus it on everything 100%, so you will have to like be on the technical side or on the musical side or on the like construction side, like it can be you can focus
No,
on many things.
it can be overwhelming to become like really really good at absolutely everything. And I also have the great fortune of working in labels that have great mastering engineers.
Yeah,
I mean, I get like mastered. And also, I have to mention that I have the fortune also to like have you around. You've done so many masters for me, and
for the
that's
quickies.
awesome. Yeah, and for the not so quickies too. There's
Yeah,
been a lot of releases that have your masters in them, and but yeah, most recently, like people like Ido Ofir, that like domestic he masters amazing. And I
yeah,
mean, I like to concentrate in my mix downs and my compositions, and um, I don't know. I think that not at all. Like I'm not there yet whatsoever. I keep improving, and I keep fucking up sometimes too. So
yeah.
to assume the mastering responsibility, it's just like I have stuff to work at.
Unrealistic. Yeah. Yeah, no, I like, well, for your own tracks anyways, that's just for playing. I'm sure you do it and you do it fine. But yeah, I understand. Yeah, I also like, I feel like I still have like so much more to learn in terms of mastering, in terms of mixing. I need like way more practice, maybe better better speakers, or like a better treated room to get like that little 5% that we always want. It's that last 5% that I want, but you don't realize you're not even like in 20% there. Like it's like
So what do you think of this? I'll throw you a curveball here. What do you think of the like kids compared to us that were on the fourth decade of our lives? But yeah, like there's just a lot of kids that randomly come out of I don't know where, and they have very little gear, and they're probably working in like a bedroom and stuff like this, and yet they sound ridiculously good and like accomplished and stuff like this. I don't know. Like, what do you think of that? Is it that they have a new chip? Like, why do we need such expensive speakers and treated rooms to sound good when there's people with headphones and like
well, we don't really need them. Like you just need to know your reference, no, but also it's like, you know, you see kids that like obviously are like very very talented, and I wouldn't even try to compare myself into that realm of talent, like, you know, like kids that are making tracks for like pop stars and like making millions, and like just with their headphones in their bedroom with just Ableton and the grain delay, and it's like, okay, like I don't expect to be that talented, because you know, there is always gonna be one Bach or one Mozart that like nobody can understand how he's doing these things, you know, like, and this is like, I try to not compare myself to that, but also it's like, you know, you get like, when did you start, man? You started 20 years ago. There was like no YouTube, no channels that like were promoting this kind of like you know, DIY audio behavior. Like, you either went to college and like go to the gear and like learn from that, and that's where we're coming from. So like, I think we are a little in a way, like, I think some people like you or me are trying to craft more of the thing, and like some people are doing collage, and both are equally valuable. Just man, like how, if you go to Splice now, like the quality of stuff that you can find there is ridiculous. Like, remember
Oh yeah.
remember our samples with Doru Malaya, you know, and Reason and stuff like that. It's like, come on, like, we've gone a long way to do our thing and like to sound that good, like or as good as we can, you know. And like, I think it's just a different approach, you know. Like, some people are working hard, and some people are trying to work smart. I think that's
True.
my view on things.
That's a very good answer, man, to
Yeah, man.
the
But
proposed.
yeah, but
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a generational thing, I think, and yeah, I mean, people. I wouldn't promote going to college nowadays with all of the like readily available information that is there in the computer, you know. And yeah, it was harder back in the day, but still, it's like super impressive to see, you know, these kids with the same resources as we have, and I don't know, like 18 years plus less of experience,
yeah, but
and
18 year,
sounded good.
but also 18 years less of brain plasticity gone, you know.
Yeah, and 18 years less of struggle, man.
Yeah, 18 years less of like, you know, all your internal stuff, like trying, like, you know, getting into the music. Now you suddenly feel like you have some sort of like, oh yeah, this is Jossie Telch music and this is how it should sound, and now you're like all constrained about all this, and you can't, well, this is how it happens to me, you know, like, not about you, but like, this is Tron music, like, this is how it should sound, and I'm portraying this, and then eventually, like, I am closing myself up to like loads of stuff that I should be maybe doing that will get a better result with, because I already learned that this is the way that it should be done, because this is what worked for me, I guess, you know.
Yeah, no, definitely, man, definitely. And but yeah, even like with me, just because the style also keeps evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to keep myself updated sonically. You know, I mean, the Cytec sound has gone through so many phases. And sonically speaking, I mean, you know, I don't know. So sometimes it goes more towards the like techno kind of more in the lo-fi sense, you know, like a fatter sub, but you can't really understand like the
Why? Yeah.
phrasing of the bass. To sometimes it just like goes like full kind of psy-trancey rolling bass stuff, to sometimes like super portamento side chain. It's not like you establish a sound, you establish some trademarks,
Yeah.
but the sound I mean, I do notice this difference with traditional psytrance, you know, even though traditional psytrance is also always evolving, and you know, like
Yeah.
it's still more established in the way like how a kick drum should sound, you know, like a good kick drum. I mean, you can put an asterisk song or track from like 7 years ago or 10 years ago and one from now, and it's going to sound all of them amazing, but all of them like sonically similar, you know. And in my genre, like in 6 months, it'll boom, just like change. Just like the one guy that is rocking the most will come out with a track that has a particular kind of a thick color, and then for the next couple of months it's like that, and then you have to kind, you know, like sometimes you're the trailblazer and you do it, and then everyone follows, and or then it's you're just following, but it's not like you can sit comfortably in one sound, you know. It's always kind of it hasn't established itself yet.
Yeah.
Like so it's a newer baby.
No, and also it's like it's wide open because it's like it's a cross genre of many styles, no? So it's quite open to interpretation and to how you want it to make it sound. Like it's not like psytrance, it's like psytrance. Like so you can like get a little bit of Goa, get a little bit of, you know, like some other stuff, but like it's mainly, you know, but like you know what you're making. I think it's like, you know, it could be a bit of prog, it could be a bit of tech, it could be a bit of psy, it could be, you know, like so many different branches of it that, you know, you can explore way more sound palettes without getting weird or getting like out of context.
Yeah, and with more space in between the kick drums too.
Yeah, that's a few more milliseconds to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so I think they're asking for a track now. So
Some music, yeah. This is gonna be the last track. It's gonna be because we don't have any preferences in this place. We're gonna play the tracks as they arrived, and this time is Sulikosa's time. Yeah, sorry guys, let's do this. No favoritism, no nepotism in this channel. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, Natalia has some good good things. Yeah, definitely need some spice, a little bit of juice. You know, like just a little bit of juice, maybe some Maggi. Yeah, and it's gonna be good. But no, I think. What do you think, Jossie? I'll let you start. This is the beginning of the end.
The beginning of the end. Well, it's a very nice track. I like it a lot. The kick and the bass and the snare sound like super good and there in the mix. I would bring the rest of the stuff up a little bit.
Mm.
I was talking about this with Tron. He was actually the one that mentioned it, and I agree fully. But yeah, nice track towards the end. A little bit too much lemonade for me. Like it gets a little bit monotonous. Could end sooner or have a bit more stuff going on, and not just let it end like that. But I like it a lot. It's also one of the best sounding ones for sure.
Nice. Yeah, no, definitely the kick, bass, and snare are on one level, and the rest of the track is on another level, quite lower. So yeah, like that would be good to maybe bring down one or bring up the other. I think the arpeggio is really cool, but I think like you are stretching it a little bit too much, or at least in the end part, I think like yeah, it should be backing up some sounds rather than the arpeggio still be right at the front of the arrangement. But this is just my view on things. Like really, I think Oh, ¿qué onda, mi George? ¿Cómo estamos? Woo! Uh, so yeah, I think in broad terms also, I think it needs a bit of more music. As like Natalia said, it didn't really quite catch me. Like it has. I explained that like you get all the meat, but no vegetables. Like so really like it has like all the essence of like the blast. Like well not the blast, but like the basic of the track, but it doesn't really have the involving stuff around it, like some pads, some like stuff that is like maybe doing some progression, or some stuff that is like getting the rest of the stuff into a different context every time that it's like evolving. But yeah, I think it's a cool track. Keep going, man. Keep going.
Yeah, nice, super nice.
Anything else you want to add, man? Just like I'll let you. Well, thank you very much for showing up, man. I know it was a bit short notice, but yeah, this is how it goes in these pandemic times. Thank you very much, man.
Hey, my pleasure, man. It's always fun to hang out with you. And yeah, I had been meaning to be on your podcast, so it's done. Check. Awesome. And I had a lot of fun, and thanks for the people that tuned in. And yeah, man, that's it. Till the next time.
Till the next time, yeah, thank you very much to everyone that tuned in. And yeah, we'll have to cut it right now because I'm getting hungry. No, because it's already been 2 hours, and I'm gonna have to do some how do you say, some some work for Jossie if we just like stretch more. No, but
Hey, a deal's a deal, bro.
yeah, there's no joke about that. I'm gonna have to do some masters. But yeah, man, thanks for
All right.
oh,
No. All right. I said cool.
yeah, some sexy work for the Jossie.
Okay, so I'll stay. I'll stay on the Discord. No, like,
Yeah,
or should we talk up
yeah,
or whatever?
yeah. We'll do the other tracks now. Cool, guys. See you soon. Boya, boya.